Well, my Dorks, Nerds, Geeks, and Gamers, it's your host Ghost here, and today we're watching another episode of Dorks Movie Minute. Today we're going to be talking about Marvel's What If, episodes 2 and 3. Episode 2 being What If T'Challa was Star-Lord. This episode starts off, we actually get T'Challa getting taken from Wakanda at a young age from Yondu, much in the same way Star-Lord did. Because they track Wakanda and they see the vibranium sends off a signal, much like a celestial, so they assumed it was a celestial being, and they go down and kidnap him for a ransom, and then that's how T'Challa becomes connected to Yondu and becomes Star-Lord. We then cut to the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy, with Star-Lord dancing. Basically it's the same thing, but it's Black Panther this time, and he ends up getting the Reality Stone, I believe it was. I believe that's the stone. Yeah, the Reality Stone was the one they got there. So yeah, he ends up getting that, but instead of getting taken down by that first guard like the original Star-Lord did, T'Challa is actually more convincing. He actually convinces everyone around him that he's doing the right thing because he's that charismatic of a leader. So it definitely changes the way everything plays out, such as Thanos now being a good guy, Nebula not being tortured by Thanos because he's already achieved his goal of world peace and sustainability and all that because of T'Challa. So it makes everything way different than the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie. We get to the Collector, who has a Wakandan ship that T'Challa wants to check out. He ends up checking it out, and then they end up getting in a fight with the Collector to break everyone out of their collections. And that's basically what this episode's main action theme is about. It's kind of like a heist movie for the most part, but with T'Challa instead of Star-Lord, and with Yondu and some of the Ravagers and all that, and Thanos involved and on the team, and Nebula and Gamora and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a very good episode. A lot of action scenes. He fights the Collector. You get to see Howard the Duck in there. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil these Marvel What If episodes, just give you points and kind of my score on the overall episode. But we got to hear Chadwick Boseman reprise his role once again. It's great to hear him back in the role. Unfortunately, it's one of the last few times we're going to hear his voice. So really savor that moment of Chadwick Boseman being in the MCU still. And I do like the connected stories they're trying to tell with these. We did get a little cliffhanger at the end here of this one of Ego showing up to take on the Chris Pratt Star-Lord at the very end, because that hole was kind of open when T'Challa took over. So it did kind of change the universe completely in a bad way or good way. I still enjoy the intros with the Watcher. I do like the Twilight Zone vibe these episodes are giving with. But overall, I'm going to give episode 2. I'm not going to spoil, like I said, a whole lot about this episode. But episode 2, I'm going to give a solid 7 out of 10. And it was a good episode, but it wasn't my favorite episode so far. I think the next one I'm going to talk about, episode 3, is more fun, I think, than episode 2. But I did enjoy episode 1 and 2 so far of the series overall. But let's move on to episode 3. And episode 3 is, what if the Earth's mightiest heroes had fallen, or the world lost its Earth's mightiest heroes? And this episode was actually very cool because it was actually a much darker in tone episode than a lot of the other ones were. This one actually had to deal with the death of the Avengers. What happened if someone had killed the Avengers before Nick Fury had time to recruit them, or if they killed them while he was recruiting them, and who was killing them. That was the very intriguing part of this episode. It was very much played like the MCU did, with Nick Fury and Black Widow kind of going to each Avenger individually and trying to recruit them, starting off with Tony Stark, where they go to recruit him at the donut shop, and he just falls over and dies. And from there I was like, whoa, this is getting crazy for being a Marvel show. But it gets crazier, trust me, it gets way crazier. We then cut to The Incredible Hulk. We get a scene from the Incredible Hulk movie, which I never thought would be really shown in the MCU. We get to live in that world a little bit more, Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk. That scene where he's in the courtyard and he's going nuts on the tanks and he's fighting General Ross. That scene is there, except the Hulk just keeps expanding, his muscles keep expanding, and then eventually he explodes and his guts go everywhere, and it's ridiculous. And I was like, whoa. That was the moment that was like, okay, now these are getting nuts. Something's killing these Avengers, and we have no idea what it is. We then get to Thor, his intro in Nevada, where the hammer comes down, and he ends up trying to go get the hammer, and Hawkeye's there watching, just like in the MCU is. But instead of this time, he actually pulls the trigger, and he takes a shot at Thor, and he kills him. He hits him right in the heart with an arrow. But we find out that Clint keeps saying, I didn't pull the arrow. And then so Clint gets arrested for killing Thor, even though he supposedly didn't do it. We then cut to Loki, who wants to avenge Thor's death, and Samuel Jackson also wants to avenge Thor's death because he doesn't know what's going on. Nick Fury doesn't. He wants to find out the killer, who's killing his Avengers team just as much as Loki does. So he ends up teaming up with Loki to help figure out who's doing this in the end. We don't know he's teamed up with Loki yet, but we do find out later on at the very end of the episode that he is. We then cut to Black Widow kind of piecing the clues together in the background who could be doing this, and it ties to Janet Van Dyne. So we know Hank Pym is involved now at this point. So now all the fingers point to Hank Pym. We then cut to the graveyard where Hank Pym is visiting his wife's grave, and Fury shows up to confront him to see if he is actually the one doing this. And he looks crazy. Like, he looks absolutely nuts. He's in the Ant-Man suit, and yes, he has been the one who has been going around killing all these Avengers for revenge for S.H.I.E.L.D. not helping him get his wife back alive, and all the things they kind of abandoned him on. So he's there. He is the killer. So Nick Fury goes to fight him. It's an awesome fight. Nick Fury multiplies. We find out Loki's helping him. That's how he can multiply. Nick Fury's not pulling any punches. He's not playing games. He ends up winning. They take down Hank Pym, and they find out he's the bad guy. They arrest him, and that's the end of the episode. But I did like it. I did like the mystery. I did like the lore. I did like the change of pace for the characters, making some heroes bad guys. That was very fun to see. And the violence, the ultra violence for the PG-13, they definitely pushed the ratings on this one. But it was very exciting for me, very entertaining. But let me know down below. I'm going to give this one a final score of 9 out of 10. I did enjoy it a lot. I think I enjoyed the next one even more, episode 4, but you got to stay tuned for Dorks Movie Minute, Marvel What If episode 5 and 6, coming very soon. We'll do that one next week. But yeah, very good episodes. But let me know down below what you guys think of the Dorks, or what you guys think of the Marvel What If series. Did you enjoy episodes 2 and 3 as much as I did? Let me know down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And as always, guys, keep it right here on Dorkston. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.